Hi, this is a 1970 Aquarian tarot deck. The box is somewhat worn, but still in pretty good condition for its age. I had trimmed these cards down a while back, and as you can see, they're quite a bit smaller, and not only that, they had that beige kind of off-white border around that I got rid of. And I do have a video that I showed those. I think I showed them before and after. Anyway, the backs were this blue, and I don't dislike it. It didn't look like it goes with any of the cards, because all the cards are just browns and yellows and oranges and off-white, and nothing that really went with that royal blue, which it just seemed weird. But I said, you know what, I still like it, because I want to keep this deck just about as close to the way it was as I could. So what I did, and you know, the other thing is the backs looked pretty good to be that old. There's a couple scuff marks. So what I did, I actually found a blue Copic marker that exactly matched that. And I like to do this little trick. Let's see if I can do it. Okay. See? Beautiful. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So I have the size I want, and I have beautiful edging that matches the back. So if I spread them out that way, you know, you don't see any white sticking out, so that's good. And this is what I used. This is a B69 Copic sketch, and I used the chisel tip. And you just take it and you just run it along the sides all the way around, and you let it dry. I laid these out, spread them out till they dry. I just spread them out on a big table and let them dry overnight, and they're fine. It doesn't affect... That wasn't such a good job. I'm trying to do this around my camera. But yeah, it didn't affect the shuffleability at all. So that turned out to be sort of an updated and awesome, yet unique deck. So then I said, you know what? I saw a couple videos out there, and they have been using the Tim Holz Distress Inks. And I'll post a link below where I got the idea. This is the antique linen. Like I said, I'm a crafter, so I had taken little baby blocks and put these Tim Holtz sponges on a couple of those. And this is the one that's for antique linen. Although I didn't really use this, I ended up just taking cards and taking the cards and just... This, by the way, is the Sicoli deck. So as you can see, that's the white. So what I did is I just run, and I can put a link below where I got the idea, and I just kind of run it over all the edges, and then just let it dry by itself a little bit. So it shows the color. You can't really see, but this color is an off-white, a real pretty off-white. The edge of the deck is a stark white. And I'm not sure if you're going to be able to appreciate the color, but here are the stack of cards that I have done. And then there in my right hand is the stack that I haven't done. So as you can see, it makes quite a difference. Even when you look at it from this way, it makes a difference. Some of them are lighter, some of them are a little bit darker. But I don't mind that because actually it's a distress ink, so it's meant to have a little bit of variation in the color. This didn't take as long to dry as the, probably think I suck at shuffling. It didn't take as long to dry as the Copic markers. They are both acid-free distress inks. These are dye inks. So these are dye inks and these are inks, alcohol inks. So they are ink. So that may be why the colors come up so nicely on this cardstock. I don't know. You can barely, I'm kind of laughing at myself because I'm saying, I bet they can't even tell the difference. I don't know. You can't really until you look at them side by side. And you can't really tell the difference either when you fan it out. But because, I mean, it's such a subtle thing. But the white definitely has that kind of blue-white look. So it just gives it to me more of a nice antique patina. And I really love it. So I may go over this again and make it even darker. There are a couple of colors you could use. I suppose you could use the vintage photo. The vintage photo is really, really vintagey color. This antique linen is more of a subtle color. And really, for this particular deck, which I love so much, I didn't want to change it up too much. You know, as far as the Aquarian, being that the edge, it didn't have an edge really, unless it was, if you consider that a black edge. So you can do a dark color. If you have, for instance, this one, and I didn't trim the edge, it's beige, so you don't really want to go with a dark color on the edge, because what you'll see happening is it will kind of bleed over to the front or the back. And if this bled over, it just made it more antique-y looking. And if I was really wanting to change it, I could even use this little stampy and really smudge it up and antique it right out. But I just wasn't ready to do that. I'm pretty happy with it the way it is now. Okay, so that's that one. And what I wanted to also show you is this round deck that I got. It's the Circle of Life, which again, I did another video and I showed how daggone gorgeous these backs are. These mandalas, I love them. So, these cards are just fabulous. Look at that. I'm not going to show you all these cards, but the artwork is so amazing. And the color is a big part of this deck. So, when I noticed that this had a purple border, I said, this needs to have purple on the edge. So I am going to do that. I don't know, when I get some time. These are big cards. That's a lot of surface area to do. But it's going to make them look so gorgeous. You know, again, if you look at how beautiful that looks. That if you have the purple, how beautiful that's going to look. It just makes it look like a more handmade deck, whereas this just looks like factory edged, which it is, but still in all. So I was trying to match up the colors, and I have a ton of those Copic markers, and purple is not the easiest color, but that's a pretty good match. Maybe that's a little bit too blue. That might be the right color. So, you know, again, the chisel tip. That's not the chisel tip, that's the other tip. If you're going to do this, don't use those. I call them brush tips. They call them, I'm not sure what they call them, but it looks like a paintbrush. Don't use that because you can go over the edge accidentally. Now, again, with this being purple on both sides, it's not so much a problem. I think that's about the right color. It's not so much a problem of doing it because even if it does go over the edge, it's going to kind of blend in because that's a dark color. But yeah, it's better to use the chisel tip because then you could just get right on top of it, put your finger, and then go around. I will say this one is a little bit more irritating than just using the pad of the ink, the Tim Holtz Distress Inks. This color is BV34, and that might be what I'm going to use. So once I get this deck complete, I'll show you how it turns out. Okay, thanks so much for watching. Oh, I wanted to show you my Chicoli, my Nicoletta C. This is this green color box. I love that. So I made this crochet holder for this box. It fits the box perfectly. And I take this with me everywhere because I love this deck. So once it dries, I'm going to put it back in my handbag and take it. I just, during, you know, breaks at work and so forth, you can just kind of do quick drawings with this deck. It's such an amazing deck. Okay guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope this video was not too dorky. Bye.